Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to do something a little bit different. You see, we're back on Battlesector, a rather fun Warhammer 40k game, which does get quite a lot of support and also a lot of DLC. Well, on the 15th of this month, so only a few days to go, the Tau, one of my favorite races in Warhammer 40,000, are finally getting released. And before anyone says it, yes, I like Tau. I've played Tau since like 2004. Bites me. So yeah, if you're into a faction which has a lot of range capabilities and a rather stacked roster, this might be the one for you. You see, the Tau come with quite a lot of different options, and as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of different races that are playable already. But naturally, we have to start talking about the roster. There are 3 different command units that you can get, the first one being a Tau Commander, which you can have on either an Enforcer or Cold Star Battlesuit. Yes, the Battlesuits have variants and a bunch of different weapon options too. They're actually very, very killy, which makes them pretty key to have in your armies. You would also have noticed, and this is a thing that you're going to see a lot through the armies, when there is options for different types of drones, so you've got marker drones, shield drones, or just the standard ones, yes, you can have them attached to certain commanders and certain units, which is kind of cool. I love the system like that, because again, you know, drones are a key factor in the Tau forces. It's kind of like your little robotic friends. Naturally, also alongside the standard commander, you've also got the Cadre Fireblade, so yeah, a little bit of frontline trooper. This is basically going to be the one that you've got at the very start. It's not bad, honestly. There's quite a lot of shots, very good range, the abilities are pretty good. Marker lights, by the way, are a thing, so you're going to be able to increase your range capacity much better than that of the Tau shooting in 8th edition Warhammer 40k, that's for sure. And then lastly, there is the Ethereal, which is a hover-style spellcaster buffer. It's not too bad, but I've mostly just been going with battlesuits myself, kind of Farsight style. You can play around with quite a lot of different loadouts, to be honest. The Tau are very capable of doing damage left, right, and center, and in most cases, very far away from your enemy forces. There are some cases that you're going to be getting up close and personal, especially if you're using breaches, but we'll get to that in just a little second, actually. Stealth suits are also available to you, and you can see here, again, you can choose the drone companion, and you've got a few different weapons. They can go invisible, so that really depends on your playstyle. Really surprised with how well these troops perform, as I generally did not use them in the tabletop myself. But yeah, pretty good troop. Burst cannon's pretty cool. It depends again on your loadout. You're going to be wanting to switch around, that's for sure, and you've got loads of options to be able to do so. So I'd suggest just having some fun. If you're going to be picking up this DLC, you've got a lot of shooting to work with. Now, obviously, it's not Tau. We don't start talking about all the really big stuff, like, for example, the Crisis Team Battlesuits. A lot of different weapon options here. These are fairly mobile because obviously they got a jetpack, so they can move around. Keep in mind that their accuracy will lower when you use stuff like jetpacks. However, if you're using marker lights with your other troopers, that should really kind of offset that. Mobility is really good with the Tau here, especially when you start looking towards all the highly mobile crisis suits and so on. But we're going to go to my favorite. Believe it or not, I absolutely adore the broadside battlesuit, especially with the railgun. You don't have access to all the other variants, but you do have access to the missiles and one of the pods on the side. I mean, it's pretty good for what it is. It's very hard-hitting. Some people swear by them, others don't like them. It just depends on the player, really. The Ghost Keel is also there, too, if you want to have something that hits fairly hard but moves fairly quickly, too. They're so cool, and they're absolutely massive. I'll be showcasing a battle soon where you'll be able to see them up front and personal, and some of them are just freaking huge, man. Like, seriously. The Riptide is also available from the very beginning, and it is absolutely destructive. I actually couldn't believe when I did one of those Planetary Supremacy campaigns, and I had one in my starting army because, yeah, it just feels like a bit much. But yeah, really big, really strong. You've got a lot of really fun things to play around with, and it's actually kind of cool to see a lot of variety on suits. You don't have a lot of other stuff, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And lastly, for like a big heavy-hitting tank, you do have the Hammerhead gunship, which, again, you've got the variants on the different types of weaponry too. Kind of feel bad that I still only got like 2 of them, like half-painted. Mostly, I just went with like Breacher spam and Fire Warrior spam on the tabletop. That was just because memes. You do have some fast-moving units with the drones, and those can be upgraded to have a marker light on them too, which, by the way, marker light's very, very useful, so if you're going to be bringing drones, bring them alongside them, because it's going to help your faction overall, especially once you start dealing with the big, heavy hitters. the problem there is like the orcs and so on. You want to be able to shoot them down before they get too close. You can have a little bit of melee capabilities, but this is still Tau, right? Like, don't expect to be able to hold up. And then finally, you've got the Piranha, which is amazing, right? It's really fast moving. It's able to do a lot of damage. It's not like the big damage dealer, but if you're looking to get behind enemy lines super quick, because, you know, surrounding the enemy does help a lot, yeah, this is the unit for you. In terms of basic core troopers, you've got Pathfinders, Breaches, and basic Fire Warriors. So these are your front line. The Breaches themselves aren't too good. They'll be pretty much as close to range as possible, which does make them suffer. However, they are quite good at putting a little bit of a punch back. Your Pathfinders are your scout troopers. They've also got some pretty decent weaponry. They all come with marker lights attached, by the way, too. So you're going to be able to increase the capabilities of pretty much every other unit. Yeah, the weapon options are quite nice overall. I mean, Fire Warriors probably the better ones, at least as far as I've seen, because you've got the pulse carbines and so on, but that will depend on the player. Personally, pretty much Fire Warriors and mechs, loads and loads of mechs. So again, with the Tau, as per usual, you'll be able to play Planetary Supremacy, which means, you know, it's the custom campaign, you versus 2 other factions. There's also going to be other ones that you're going to be fighting alongside. It's pretty fun, and when it comes to the HQ stuff, upgrades, yeah, from the first point, you'll be able to start getting some Pathfinders, the Piranha also, and the Stealth Suits, which I was quite surprised. There's not a lot of units, but what it is, it's pretty focused on buffing, getting your extra weapons like Flamers, a lot of really cool stuff, like, you know, you've got the orbital cannon and stuff like that, which is really, really fun. You'll basically be starting off with a few drones, some Fire Warriors, Breaches, and obviously you've got the Riptide at the very beginning, which I think is still ridiculous. It's very, very strong. But yeah, I mean, you need something strong, because the moments that something gets really up close and personal to you, you're in for a world of hurt. And here you can see the basic starting army, also alongside what you can recruit from the very beginning. So obviously you've got the basic crisis teams, you've got the Riptide, you've got 2 different types of Fire Warriors, so the Breaches and the Standard. Then you've got access to the drones and the Fireblade. Overall, it's a pretty good start. I mean, wasn't that like one of the start kits back in the day? It's been a while since I've been able to play 40k, in all honesty, because as most of you are aware, I'm super swamped with old world stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's not bad overall. It's not the full complete roster, but usually that stuff gets added into with time. Hell, the Space Marines just recently had like a free unit being implemented, which was the Baby Carrier, I think, which is nice, obviously. This DLC isn't too bad. I like the idea of adding in the Tau. It's nice to see a lot of Xenos love, because this game itself hasn't just been focusing on like Imperial stuff. It's literally been, oh, adding this, adding that. The DLC comes out on the 15th of February, so it's not too far now, which, yeah, I mean, overall, I'm quite happy. I will say, though, I'm a little bit disappointed that there wasn't any other stuff like, you know, the Kroot or maybe some Vespid and stuff like that. But I imagine it's because Games Workshop are doing complete redesigns and stuff like that. Usually takes a while before it's implemented into video games. We already know that the Kroot are getting quite a heavy redesign, which is quite nice. I like the Kroot. It's almost, and I mean seriously, it's really tempting me to get back into 40k, because I'm a big fan of the Tau, I'm a big fan of all the other stuff like the Kroot and so on, so it would be kind of cool. The Vespid themselves definitely do need some redesign, so yeah, maybe in the future, you never know. What you can see here is that the damage output is low because I wasn't using any of the abilities. It's just kind of trying to see how much the range is and everything else. Range is amazing. The problem is that when you're getting shot at by Necrons, you are going to be losing troops really quick. But once you start using abilities, marker lights and so on, you'll be noticing how well the Tau range firepower is. The great thing is, like, in most cases, your range is going to be shooting from so far that you're going to be able to do a lot of damage, and you're going to be able to keep the enemy at bay, because by the time that they get to you, they're going to have a lot less troops. Now, Necron range is still pretty decent, so obviously they're still able to do quite a bit of damage, but overall, I mean, it's not too bad, and you're getting a lot of shots out, right? The drones are doing loads and loads of shots, like pretty much, 3 units of drones to delete a character, alongside the Fireblade. Obviously, I used the Fireblade to do some damage there. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think it is pretty well done. I don't know exactly how much this DLC is going to cost, though, so give me a second. Well, that's super weird. The price isn't listed for the Tau. However, usually race packs, from what I can see here, are around €16.66. that's not too bad for a brand new race to be able to play with. You'll also be able to use them in multiplayer mode if you're one of those guys that likes playing competitive. Yeah, I think that's pretty fun. I mean, it's less than a packet of Fire Warriors that you'd buy from the Games Workshop, right? I think it's pretty much less than a character, too. Like a standard character. I will say it's nice to see variety. We've seen the demons, we've seen this, we've seen the orcs, we've seen the Tyranids, Necrons. Slowly but surely, they're adding in every race and faction. Honestly, the only thing I think would make this game a lot better is if they expanded upon the campaign system a little bit more. Make it a little bit, you know, like, larger and have more races, not just 1 versus 1 versus 1. I think that's my only gripe with Battlesector, because overall, it's a pretty fun game. I know some people don't like turn-based stuff, because yes, Warhammer does get a lot of turn-based stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's based on tabletop stuff, and that's going to be expected. But yeah, a little bit of an expansion to the campaign system to make it a little bit more like, well, like the system of Dark Crusade without the RTS battles. Obviously, the battles would stay the same, but, you know, having more factions involved would be really, really cool to see more of the dynamic there. It would be kind of like Civ, but with the turn-based battles. I don't know. It just sounds like it would be a cooler idea. Because they've got everything else laid down. The battle system is absolutely incredible. I really, really enjoy it. I have fun with this game. I want to see expand more, and they do, what, 1 to 2 DLCs a year, just adding in races and stuff, which is fantastic. They're slowly going to get done with all the codexes. You know what would be really cool if they did the Votan eventually, because, well, those are a thing, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I'll let the rest of the battle play out so you can see how the Tau can do quite a lot of damage, especially with focus fire. It's hilarious. Yeah, have a good day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon. And, yeah, I've got to get back to painting. That's been my life for the past 3 weeks now, so it's, yeah.
What do you need? Ready for orders.
Cut them down!
Taking fire. Taking fire. They will not get through this way.
We're under fire!
Taking hits. Taking fire. Taking fire. Clear them out. Moving.
I am ready.
What do you need? Pushing forward. Ready for orders.
Standing by.
Moving. Open fire!
Moving out.
Pushing forward.
To the front line!
They will not get through this way. Seek cover! Ugh.
Scanner picking up movement. With pride. Firing on target.
Clear them out.
Yes.
Cut them down! Strike team, ready!
Pushing forward. What do you need?
We're under fire!
Armored support. Ready. Moving.
Ready for orders.
What are your orders?
Ready for orders.
Standing by. Moving out. Priority target marked. Cut them down! The trap is set.
The fires burned brightly.
Taking fire.
They did their duty.
How can I assist?
Firing now! I am ready. Firing now!
Ready for orders.